Okay, we are now a week away from Shavuos. So I want to relate to you a mimer of the Griz Halevi, the Brisker Rav. He was called the Griz, Mevelvel, the Brisker Rav. The first mimer in his Sefer, Griz Al Torah, so he brings down a Gemara. The Gemara in the beginning of Avodah Zorah, the very first page of Avodah Zorah. La'asad lavai, maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu Sefer Torah manichu b'cheikoi. La'asad lava means there's going to come a time when the whole world recognizes that there's Hashem, and then Hashem it's going to go into the olam of the schar. He's going to start handing out the schar for everything that everybody has done in the 6,000 years of existence. He's going to take a Sefer Torah, put it in his lap, and he's going to say, L'misha osak bo yovo v'yito scharo. Anybody who is oisek in Torah, he should come and take his schar. Then the Gemara says, Biyad biskapsin uboyin oivde kachavim b'ervuvia. All the goyim are going to come. One big mess. Everybody's going to be pushing. It's going to be a big crowd. And they're all going to want to come and take their schar. They know what schar olam haba is. They all of a sudden woke up. And now they want to get their schar, get their reward for olam haba. All the goyim. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, no. This is not how we do it. We don't do a big mess and a big crowd and everybody mixed together. One nation at a time. One nation at a time. Okay. So first comes Romi, Malchus Romi. That's the Western civilization. Western civilization, Europe and the United States, they've taken over the Malchus of Malchus Romi. The other ones, they're going to come and they're choshev, so they're going to come. So Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to say to them, "B'maya saktem." So what'd you do? Did you learn Torah? I said, no, we didn't learn Torah. No, Ribboni Shalaylam. We were machzik Torah. We supported Torah. Why? Harbe shvakim teknino. We made many business areas, a shuk, many business areas. Merchatzoyas asina. We made many merchatzoyas, bathhouses. In those days they didn't have indoor plumbing, so they had bathhouses. Kesev azov harbino. We made millions. We accumulated millions of dollars, millions of euros. V'kulam no asinu ela b'shvil Yisrael. We only did this for Klal Yisrael. Kadesh Yisasku b'Torah, in order they should learn. We are machzik Torah. So Kadosh Baruch Hu says, Shaitim sheba'olam, fools that you are. Everything that you did was for yourself. You made business areas, business industrial centers, lahaysh behem zaynis, because you wanted to make brothels of znus. That's what you really wanted to do. Merchatzoyis, you made pleasure palaces. That's the big thing, in pleasure, the pleasure, the entertainment field, right? La'aden behem atzbechem, because you wanted to get a lot of pleasure, so you involved yourself in the entertainment world. And kesef azov, you made a lot of money. That belongs to me. Liya kesef, Liya azov. All the money that you made was all because of me. It's my money. I just used you to bring money into the world, but it's all mine. Klum yesh b'chem magid zois. Is there anything? Do you have any Torah? No. Mazeh magid zois. Ein zois el Torah. Where's your Torah? Zois ha-Torah she'asam Moshe miyad yotzu b'pachei nefesh. They get forlorn, down crestfallen, and they go out. Then comes Malchus Porras, Iran. Iran inherited the Persian Empire. So why are you doing here? We see from over here that they came second after Rome.
Look at the entire Islamic world, Rabbi.
So that's Tosfos. Tosfos brings down who is the Malchus Porras. It's Tosfos over here. He says, why these two nations? Because they're the ones that have a Malchus, and it extends all the way to the time of the Mashiach. All the other Malchios, Bavel, and Ashur, and the Yavin, they all collapsed already. They've all disintegrated. But Edom and Paras are Moshech. Their rule continues up until the time of the Mashiach, and then it's got Asida. It says in the Gemara. It says in the Gemara, Asida Paras Yitipu Biad Romi, that we had last time I spoke, that Rome is going to conquer Porras. That's one. Well, that's the version of the Gemara that Tosfos mentions over here. That Asida Porras Yitipu Biad Romi, Samuch LeBias HaMashiach, right before the Bias HaMashiach. That's when we're going to see the war between the Western world and Porras. Malchus Rome Yitipu Biad. I saw it here. I saw it here. You know, when you look for it, you can't find it. I saw it here. It means the Malchus Yishmael. Porras means Malchus Yishmael. It just disappeared from me. Oh, here, it should be over here. Yeah, here it is, next Tosfos. Right? What are they doing? So who is that? They sort of talk about Me'eretz Yishmaelim. This comes from Hagar, came from Eretz Yishmaelim, and that's where Porras took over. There's Paran. It says that Akash Baruch Hu he came to Har Seir and Har Paran, and who's Har Paran is the Yishmaelim. So he seems to be saying that Porras is the prime Malchus of Yishmael. Anyway, and that's who we have today. Today we have you have Yishmael, and you have Rome, is Western civilization, and there's a big fight happening right now, and eventually Western world's going to win, and then Mashiach is going to come. So then Porras comes. So Kadosh Baruch Hu says to Porras, what did you do for the Jews? What did you do for Torah? Yeah. So they said, we made many kasharim, we made bridges, and we made many krachim, we made many big cities, industrial areas. Yeah. Kavashnu, harbe milchomas asina, we made wars. They're very good at that, the Ishmaelim, they make war all over the place. Kulam lo asinu ela bishvel Yisrael. Kadeshi Yisasku, Trump is Edom.
Also, he did it for Israel. He's claiming.
I have to give him credit, so I don't want to talk online. I got people watching me. I don't know. They start chasing me. All the pro-Palestinians are going to take my video down. No.
Yes. They've already done that.
Yeah. Trump, I can't figure him out in this whole scheme of things, because in the scheme of things, Edom is a bad guy, and it says the Mashiach is going to come and destroy them, and he's going to be Gog and Magog, and it doesn't look good for Gog and Magog, but we know Trump, and he's basically a good guy. I'm not saying I like everything he does, but he's basically a good guy, and he's got very good intentions. So I can't figure it out how it fits into all the medrashim that we've been talking about the past couple of months. Anyway, so he says, Lo asinu el bishvel Yisrael kadesh yasasku b'Torah. We did all this for Klal Yisrael, that they should be oisik in Torah. Kadosh Baruch Hu said, what are you talking about? You did everything for yourselves. You made bridges because you wanted to take tolls. You wanted to get taxes. You made a lot of industrial areas and cities because you wanted to gather everybody together and get them to work for the government workers. And you need government workers, and you need a lot of money for the government. You need people for the government. So that's why you made big cities, to gather them all together, reason to gather up. And milchamos, ani asisi, I do milchamos, Hashem yosh milchama. So then they all leave. Or call Uma v'Uma. Call Uma and Uma. And they all come and they say they want to get their reward. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered them. So the Brisker Rav, he has got a question on this. The Brisker Rav has a question on this Gemara. Asad Lavai, it's a world of truth. It's the world of emes. What does it mean, the Asad Lava? That's after Kadosh Baruch Hu is Megala himself, and all the umos of the world, they see that all their religions are a mistake, and they all turn, they recognize the Kadosh Baruch Hu, they recognize the supremacy of Klal Yisrael. It's going to be the Olam HaEmes. They're going to see everything. And they're going to come, stand in front of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Aren't they embarrassed to get in line and file a claim they want to get reward for helping Klal Yisrael? They know what they did. Everything they did was for themselves. They never had any intentions. Any intentions. Everything the Romans did during their reign was for one reason. Self-aggrandizement. They were greedy. Klal Yisrael should study Torah, no other purpose. That was their reason? It's a lie. It's a sheker. So it's a very difficult Gemara. Secondly,
but there is a point that we did benefit from it.
let me continue. Yes, that's going to be there.
So that maybe their claim is.
Oh, we'll see in a second. Yes, that's going to be the Rambam. Let me get to the Rambam. The Brisker Rav brings the Rambam. And then, but there's another bigger problem, which fits into what you're saying a little bit. He says, Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't answer them, you're shakranim. You're lying. Tell the truth. He didn't answer them, you're shakranim. He said, you're shaitim.
Fools.
You're fools for saying such a thing. You're fools. You're liars. He didn't do it for Klal Yisrael. Why is he telling them that you're fools? So the Brisker Rav, he brings there's a Rambam in the Parish of Mishnayos, right at the beginning of the Mishnayos in Maseches Brachos. He's got a whole Hakdama. In each one of the Sedarim, the Rambam has a Hakdama to each Seder of the Mishnayos, and the Hakdama before Seder's Royim, he's got a whole Hakdama. And the Rambam makes very interesting statement over here. He starts delving into I'm a fan of science and you know I was brought up on learning evolution and the proofs for evolution, and Baruch Hashem, now there's a group in Seattle of very, very talented and high quality scientists with PhDs. They're top quality, top world-class scientists, and they are proving that you cannot say that the world was created from random mutations, random incidents. Everything is random. It just happened. The world came from nowhere. You look around the world and you see design. They're called intelligent design. Now they have to use the word intelligent design. They can't say godly design because they're not, in science you're not allowed to mention that word, the God word, but they say intelligent design, and they have proven hundreds of times over. Happens to be Avigdor Miller, Zatzal. He was 75 years ahead of them. Anything that they said, he already said 75 years ago. Totally amazing. All the design, everything is designed. Everything in the world is designed. You see plan and purpose everywhere, whether it's in biology, in microbiology, whether in astrophysics, in cosmology. Everything you see, plan and purpose. There are 26 factors that go into making our world fit to be lived in. And if any one of those factors is off by 0.1%, the world would not be able to be lived in.
How many factors?
26.
You
Okay, could be. Yeah. Anyway, but they're trying to deny it, and they keep on throwing it back in their faces. It's designed. This whole world, the earth, is designed for life, and for human life. And then you look at everything, all the animals. There's design everywhere. You can't say that there's no design. Everything is designed. You look at the plant kingdom. An apple tree is perfectly designed to develop apples, and apples have a purpose. Apples have the purpose to be eaten by somebody who can see and smell, and they see the red attracts, and you can smell the apples. And an orange tree, the orange, why is it orange? Why is the orange peel orange? This is Avigdor Miller, he's amazing. Why is the orange peel orange on the outside? To attract my attention, but on the inside of the orange peel it's white because it doesn't have to attract anything. The inside of the orange peel is bitter, but if you smell it, the orange smells great from the outside. Then you open it up and then you get the orange, and the orange is designed exactly to give pleasure to a human being who's eating it, because when you take a bite, all the little sacks of orange juice, they burst. It's made of little tiny sacks of orange juice inside the orange. And when you take a bite, they all burst and it goes into your mouth and geschmack. And we have everything. And everything in the world has a design. It's been designed. A beaver has been designed he knows how to make dams. And a horse is designed, he can run, and he can be that was the car in those days. You wanted to go somewhere, you didn't take a car, they didn't have cars, so they took a horse, right? So they took the horse. The horse is, I always find it amazing. If you look at the word sus in Hebrew, what is the word sus in Hebrew? It's samach, vav, samach. What's a samach, vav, samach? It's a bicycle. 2 wheels with a line in the middle. It's a bicycle. That's the word sus. It goes, right? So all the animals.
Horse doesn't use wheels. It's not.
No, but it's just sort of like a remez. It's sort of like a remez, It's apisoid, yeah.
My horse has got wheels. Called deux chevaux, if you know what the French means.
Everything has a purpose. If we look at everything, it has, right, and there's one purpose for everything. Every animal, every tree, every piece of grass, vegetation, a cell, it's got one purpose. There are millions inside the human cell, there are a million different sections, and each little, there are proteins, and each one does a different job. Only one job. Only one job. A horse does one job. A bull does one job, a cow does, 2 jobs. A cow is either for giving milk or it's for giving meat, but it's got its job to do. A grapevine gives off grape, sheep gives wool, and it also gives meat. Everything does 1 or 2 things. So we see that everything has a purpose. Oh, so he says the biggest of philosophers, they look at the whole world, there's purpose screaming out. Now, if we can't see the purpose, there are many vegetables and vegetation and grasses and things. We don't know what they're here for, but there's definitely a reason for it. There's ecology. Everything, the ecology is a whole giant system. They're just now beginning to understand ecology. If you're missing one factor of the ecology, the whole ecological system falls apart. It's very important. If they ruin if they disrupt the bees from pollinating, so there's no bees, there's no pollination, everything starts. We lose our crops, and it's all a whole ecological system, and it's all in balance. That tells us something. That tells us that it's been created for a purpose. So when we look at the human being, so now we have to look at the human being. And this is where the intelligent design people fall down. They use intelligent design, these people in Seattle, marvelous. They use intelligent design to prove that the whole world was created. It's impossible not to say the whole world was created. Wonderful. Okay, that's what a scientist does. Now, the Rambam says they didn't go to the next step. Okay, so the whole world was created for whom? For what? It obviously was created for man. Because of all the animals, of all the vegetation, everything does just one or two things. And man, all of a sudden, he does a myriad of things. Hundreds, thousands. He's very talented. People are very, very talented and can do so many, many, many different things. So obviously, more than that, we see that we took over the world. We are now in. Kadosh Baruch Hu told Adam Arisha, go out to the world and kivshua, conquer the world, and we have. We've conquered everywhere. So obviously, the world was created for man. So now the question is, why was man created? Why was man created? He could do so many things. Now, why was man created? So says the Rambam.
Free Palestine.
Huh?
Free Palestine, maybe. Go back to the creature,
Why did he create man? So there's a famous Ramban. There's a famous Ramban, and the Ramban says that man was created with the purpose of man is in order to come to recognition of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. We have to get closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu and have recognition of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. And you read the Mesilas Yesharim and the Ramchal and the Nefesh HaChaim and all these different Svarim. Man was created to come to recognition of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now how are we supposed to come to the recognition of a Kodesh Baruch Hu? Yechezkel Levenstein. You've heard of him, yeah. Yechezkel Levenstein, Mashgiach Panovich. Formerly of the Mir, originally of the Mir in Europe, and then he was in Panovich. Yechezkel Levenstein. So, a Talmud of his was in Panovich. He was going home for Yontif. So Rav Chatzkel asked him, "Can you bring me back a toaster oven?" It was, in those days, it was very hard to get toaster ovens in Eretz Yisrael, and they were cheapy garbage. Give me a regular. I need a real toaster oven. So he went back to New York. You go to Brooklyn, 42nd Street, or 13th Avenue, and you come back with a toaster oven, with the proper 220 plug. And he brought it back, and they opened it up in front of Rav Chatzkel, and there was a piece of paper. There was a pamphlet inside. It was in English. So Rav Chatzkel asked, "What's this pamphlet? What does it say here?" "Oh, that's the owner's manual." "The owner's manual?" "Yeah, it's the instructions of how to use it." Rav Chatzkel started dancing. Torah min Shemayim, Torah min Shemayim. What Torah min Shemayim? If this stupid goy, this little goy, and he understood, you got a simple toaster oven. What brains do you need to? What brains do you need to use a toaster oven? It's got 2 knobs or 3 knobs, and you turn it on, and maybe there's hot on the top, hot on the bottom, hot on both. It's so easy to figure out. And he knew that you have to put in an instruction manual. So Kadosh Baruch Hu created this whole wide world. And it's so complex. And he didn't give us an owner's manual, an instruction manual. Of course he did. That's the Torah, Torah min hashamayim. The Torah is the instruction manual of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, how to use the world. There's a theme that runs through Nefesh HaChaim from the Zohar and from the Gemara. It says, and Rashi brings this down. This is Rashi's, this is Aleph Beis. The first Rashi in Chumash Kimat. Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'ha'aretz. What's Bereshis? Bereshis, for the Rashis. Who's the Rashis? Bereshis bishvil Torah shenikra Rashis. And Bereshis bishvil Yisrael shenikra Rashis. The whole world was created for Yisrael and for Torah. They go together. They go together. The whole Torah, the Torah is the instruction manual of this world. And I'll tell you a deeper hasaga, a deeper concept of what the Torah is. We have to understand what Torah is. We're getting to the Chag HaShavuos, which is the Chag of Kabbalas HaTorah. What is Torah? I think it's marvelous. The Chavetz Chaim says that we have today so many different scientific discoveries, technological discoveries, new technology. In his days, right, all of a sudden they didn't have the telephone. Why? People didn't believe that a Kosh Baruch Hu can hear me talking so far away, so they invented a telephone. You can hear me 10,000 miles away. Then they said, well, yeah, but that's because it's connected with a wire. But you know, where's the wire? So now we have cell phones, right? You can hear me without a wire, wireless phones. He can hear me. Yeah, he can hear me. He can't see me. They invented a photograph. Yeah, but that's static. So not only do we have a photograph which is static, we have videos. And the videos can be transmitted and kept for years and years and years. Years and years and years. You have videos. So there's schar v'einish, because it's all been, and now they have cameras all over the place. You know, who's watching them? You know, wherever you go, there's security cameras, and they can catch anybody anywhere doing anything. Today we have a computer. Everything is computer. Well, it's AI now. I mean, like AI is taking over the world, but right now, basically we have the computer. What is everybody using? A computer. Whether a computer or a laptop or whatever, you have a computer. What's a computer? I think computer is such a marvelous mashal for what the Torah is. What is the Torah? Well, the computer has to work on energy. They have to have a power supply. The Nefesh HaChaim brings down, what's this power supply of the world, of the universe? Torah. Bishvil Torah, Rashis, which is Torah. Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim bishvil Torah. The Torah is the power supply of the whole world. It's injecting the energy into the world. If it wasn't for the Torah injecting the energy into the world, the whole world would just disappear. You know, poof. Without the word poof, but would just disappear. That's the one thing it does. Second thing the Torah is that what does a computer have? A computer has an operating system. All the programs, and right, it's got all the programs on top of the operating system, and everything that happens in the world is based in the Torah. The Torah is the operating system of the world. That's what the Torah is. It's the energy of the world, and it's the operating system of the world, and it's injecting power and chiyus. Chayei olam nata b'sarcheinu. What does it mean? We just make a bracha in the morning. Chayei olam nata b'sarcheinu. What's chayei olam? It's the chiyus of the world. That's what Torah is. Chayei olam nata b'sarcheinu. That's the bracha we make at the after bracha after Kriyas HaTorah. Chayei olam nata b'sarcheinu. So he created the world to be the chiyus, the zerem, the electric current, and it's also to be the operating system. If the operating system, you know what happens if your Windows goes fluky, and the computer crashes. So it's the operating system, make sure everything goes. So where does Klal Yisrael go into this? So Kodesh Baruch Hu created Klal Yisrael, and He joined us to the Torah. He joined us to the Torah. We are the computer, programmers.
The apple of his eye.
We're the computer programmers. Everybody has a keyboard inside of him. Whenever he does the mitzvahs, he's punching in instructions into the computer, the Kodesh Baruch Hu's computer, that it should work properly. If you do a mitzvah, it works properly. If you do a vera, so then you by mistake you press delete and you messed up a whole bunch of things. Right? That's what, right? And a person doesn't use the word right, so then he makes a corrupt program. It's such a marvelous mashal, and that's what it is. And it says, and what do we sing? We sing on Simchas Torah. Yehi Yisrael v'yoraisa v'kodesh b'richu chadu. But it's everybody, they don't like this song because it starts with Yisrael. It's supposed to start with Kodesh Baruch, Araisa, Kodesh Baruch, and Yisrael. But anyway, right? Yisrael, together with Torah, are joined together as shutfim with the Kodesh Baruch Hu in the world. That's what Nefesh HaChaim says. We are shutfim. He made us shutfim. He made Adam HaRishon a shutuf with him in creating the world. Every time that we do mitzvahs, it makes the world better. Kodesh Baruch Hu told Adam HaRishon, I'm putting you in Gan Eden. I gave you such a wonderful world. The universe is all yours. Be careful. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it, because when we don't act properly, we ruin the world. So the whole purpose of the world is for Yisrael. The whole purpose of the world is for Yisrael and for Torah. That's the whole purpose of the world. So says the Rambam. He brings a Gemara. Ben Zoyma. There are two Gemaras of Ben Zoyma. The Gemara says in Brachos, Sof davar kol nishmas olakim yoreh. Ki zeh kol ha'adam. It says at the end of Kahalis, Ki zeh kol ha'adam. Amar Rabbi Elazar, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, kol ha'olam kulo no nivra ela bishvil zeh. The whole world was only created for the yoreh Elokim. Ki zeh kol ha'adam. And he says not only that, but the whole world was created for him. This is what we read in Kahalis. Then along comes Shimon ben Azai. And some people say Shimon ben Zoyma. So Ben Zoyma said, Kol ha'olam kulo lo nivra ela litzavos lezer. In other words, the whole world was created only for that one person, the one Yoreh Shemayim. The one Yoreh Shemayim. The Gemara in Sukkah, in the 4th parak, Amar of Yirmi, Mashum of Shimon bar Yochai. We just got finished with Lag BaOmer. Shimon bar Yochai. Yochal ani liftor es kol ha'olam kulo min adin. Amar of Shimon bar Yochai. Re'isi b'nei aliyah v'hen muatim. I saw very few b'nei aliyah, those people for whom the world was created. The world was created for the Yoreh Shemayim. Who are they? They are called the b'nei aliyah, the elevated people. If there are 1,000 of them, I'm in there, and my son. If there are 100, me and my son are in there. And if there's 2, me and my son. What is 2? The whole world is only created for only 2 people? So this is not a numbers game. Because Baruch Hu doesn't need numbers. He just needs a Yoreh Shemayim. If there are going to be 2 Yoreh Shemayim, it's Shimon bar Yochai and his son, Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon. So Ben Zoma, in his generation, he was one generation before Shimon bar Yochai, and he was a Yochid B'Doiroi. And he says the whole world was created to accompany this person. Litzavos lezeh. To be a accompaniment. To be company for the Klai, for this elevated person, for the Yochid B'Dairoi. And then there's another statement of Ben Zoma, later on in Brachos, in 9th parak. Same Ben Zoma. So the Rambam brings a raya from this statement of Ben Zoma. He saw an Achlusia Shabbanem Gavi Milas Harabayas. He was on Harabayas. Can you imagine what Harabayas was in those days? Bechag.
He never got to see it.
Mashma Ben Zoma was, when he was young.
It was his son-in-law, Rabbi Kiva. How could, no? Wasn't he his daughter?
No, not Ben Zoma. No, that's Ben Azai. Ben Azai. That's Ben Azai. Ben Zoma. It's Mashma over here. Ben Zoma was at the time of the end of the Churban Abayis, right before the Churban Abayis. That's it. The Gemara says it. It's the Gemara. I can't argue with the Gemara. He's on a chlusi al gavi milas harabayas. Imagine, like, the Chag. It was Cholamoid Sukkis, and everybody's going to the Kaisel going to the Beis HaMikdash, right? To wave their lulavim, when in the Beis HaMikdash, and for the Simchas Chag. And he said, first of all, he said, Baruch Chacham Arazim, because when you see 600,000 people, so it was at least 600,000 people, if not millions. Say the bracha Baruch Chacham Arazim, the Kadosh Baruch created so many different minds. Baruch Shabara Kol Elu L'Sham Sheni. Whoa! Blessed is HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He created all these people to serve me. What? He created all these people to serve me? Yeah. Kami Agios Yogai Adam Arishon. Adam Arishon was alone in the world. And then was thrown out of Gan Eden. He all of a sudden had to go to work. They tell the Yeshiva Baka, go to work. Go to work what? He had to make bread. Well, to make bread, you got to plow, you got to plant, you got to harvest, you got to put together, you have to winnow, you have to do dosh, right? And then you have to mill it, and then you have to sift it, and then you have to knead it, and then you have to bake it in order to make that bread. And then maybe you can eat a loaf of bread. Then maybe you can eat a loaf of bread. And I wake up in the morning, and I go to the Makolit, the local grocery, right? And I find everything is ready. I got bread on the shelf, and I got milk on the shelf, and I got cheese on the shelf, and I got eggs on the shelf. I don't have to. In the old days, they had to raise eggs. The chickens, they're dirty, and they stink. And they're noisy all the time, right? There's a guy behind me. He's got a couple of chickens with a rooster every morning, and the rooster wakes me up, 3:00 in the morning. Yeah, right. And you want to get a couple of eggs, like you got to have a little tiny chicken farm in your backyard. And here you just go to the Makolit, you go to the grocery, and you got eggs on this.
He's still going to make sure you never miss eggs. So really, he's a big sadi.
Something went corrupted. You wake up 3 o'clock.
Right?
It's supposed to wake up 4:30.
Baruch HaKadosh Baruch Hu created all these people to Sham Sheni. So says the Rambam, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create this whole wide world? To mishamish the few people who are the tachlis, the purpose of the world. What do we have? We have billions of people, industry, all over the world. It would never used to be like this. It used to be only local. Now it's worldwide. There's international commerce, right? Why are there so many millions of Chinese? Why are there millions of Chinese? And Chinese are they're excellent at creating industries. Why are there so many Chinese? You know why? You need a shirt. You need a shirt. You need a shirt. You need a suit. You need a suit, right? You go over here to the clothing store, Exodus, the clothing store. No, this is not a publicity stunt for Exodus, but you go to a clothing store and you read the label "Made in China." You have shirts. We need shirts. They're made in China. We need a pair of pants. They're made in China. You need a suit. It's made in China. You need a pair of shoes. It's made in China. Even Rockports are made in China or Korea, right? They ship them out. The most wonderful shoes, like, they're made in China. They're fantastic. China, they have these millions of little ants. They're like little ants in the factories, just like robots, just making all these things. And why did the Kodesh Baruch Hu create all this? Just for me. Just for me, to learn Torah. I should have time to sit and learn Torah. That's why he created it. He created people to make buildings. So that's one purpose. Then the Rambam says another purpose. Why did the Kodesh Baruch Hu create so many people? Why does he need so many people? All he needs is 1,000 Yidden, and we're the purpose of the world, and we'll sit and learn Torah all the time, and that'll be it.
You just pick a number arbitrarily?
Because the Bet Shimon Ben Yochai started off with 1,000.
Okay.
So I picked 1,000. And it didn't have to be Dafka. According to, if you look at our history, it's 600,000. Okay, so it should be 600,000.
I'm just making sure.
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm in the.
No, but even in the 600,000, not everybody was a Talmud Chacham. He called them Bnei Aliyah. Out of those 600,000, Rav Shimon Ben Yochai said maybe there's 1,000 Bnei Aliyah.
You just need to be growing.
All right. We also have, everybody's got his chelik in Torah, but the Kodesh Baruch Hu created the world for the Spitz. We're also part of it, but he created the world for the Spitz. Avada. We're part of the Jewish nation. If it wasn't for us, we wouldn't have a Jewish nation. So everybody's got a chelik in the Jewish nation, so he needs us also. And what's another reason? Why there's so many different people? Thousands and thousands of different types of people. Why are there? So because of a person who, imagine, if Kodesh Baruch Hu just created 2 people in the world, Adam Arisha, you get bored. You go out of your mind. You go out of your cut and pick in mind. Right? So he created all these people, litzavos lezed. That's Ben Zoma. He created all these people, litzavos lezed, that we should have people. It should be, wow, so many different people. Like my son always says, there are so many interesting different people. So you have so many characters in the world. Yeah, it makes life very, very interesting. So we have a whole world. The Rambam says a very, very interesting statement. He said a very interesting statement. We have a whole world creating this whole industry, creating everything. For what reason? Im lo ha-mishtagim hoya olam chorev. If it wasn't for the people who are insane, they're willing to kill themselves in their work. They work their lives, and they work they work themselves out, and they become exhausted, and they suffer heart attacks and strokes, and they go on trips, business trips all over the world. They're insane. To make what? To make a couple of $1 million that they're going to die and leave it for the kids to argue over, right? What are they doing? Imloa mishtagim. So if you look at the world, the Rambam calls them insane. Imloa mishtagim. So now we understand what the Brisker Rav answered. The Brisker Rav explains the Gemara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told the nations of the world, when they said, we did everything for Klal Yisrael. He didn't call them liars. They're truth. It's true. 100% true what they'd said. The whole world was created for Torah and for Klal Yisrael. So anybody who worked for Torah, anybody who supported Torah, anybody who supported Klal Yisrael, come and get your schar. And they all run. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't call them liars. They all of a sudden, in the Olam HaEmes, they realized it. They didn't realize it until the Olam HaEmes. Now they realize it. And now they're coming to get paid up. They want to, pay up. Pay up. Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't call them liars. He called them shaitim sheba olam. Whatever you did was for your own purpose, your own aggrandizement, your own greed. If you want to work for Torah, you had to have kavanah to work for Torah. If you're working to give your meiser money or your stocker money to B'nai Torah to help them, then economy, it'll work. Otherwise, you're working for your own greed. So we have to realize that the whole world was created for Torah. The whole world was created for Klal Yisrael. And this is what we have to appreciate as we get closer to the Chag HaShavuos. Reb Elia Lopian Zatzal. He was the mashgiach in Kfar Hasidim. You know, Kfar Hasidim. He was mashgiach in Kfar Hasidim, and one day a bacher showed up in Kfar Hasidim. He wanted to learn there, and he started learning in Kfar Hasidim. Now he was, it doesn't say he was a Baal Tshuva. I guess he was, he came from a little bit far from Torah Dika Hashkafis. He was not exactly a regular yeshiva bacher, but he wanted to learn Kfar Hasidim. He got inspired. Now he wanted to come and be part, be a regular yeshiva bacher. So he joined the thing, but he was still wet behind the ears. He wasn't quite ripe yet, but he was sitting and learning. And then in 1956, war broke out, the Sinai Peninsula War, and he had a lot of friends. He came from that community. And his friends were going into the battlefield, and he felt like that's where he belongs. He's got to be with his friends. So he went to the mashgiach, Reb Elia Lopian, and he says, not Lapin. That's the modernization, Lopian, right? So he said, Rebbe, it says, Moshe Rabbeinu told Bnei Gad, Bnei Ruvain, your brothers will go out to war, and you're going to sit here. I have to go to the battlefront. All my friends, the people I grew up with, they're putting their lives at risk to save Klal Yisrael. I have to join them. Reb Elia looked at him and he says, Bacharol, do is the milchama. Here is where the milchama is. Sit here. If you leave the Beis Medrash, you are AWOL. You know what AWOL, away without leave. You're AWOL. You're running away from the battlefront. You're not running to the war, you're running away from the war. That battlefront is right here in the yeshiva. What happens in the yeshiva will determine what happens in the battlefront. Sit and learn diligently, you're going to bring merit to Klal Yisrael, and that's how they're going to win. Your brothers are going to war, and you're going to go there. We're the ones at the battlefront. Sounds familiar, huh? The same argument today, they haven't, the Chevra hasn't learned yet. But the Lopian says, we're the ones at the battlefront. We're the ones fighting the battle. He didn't get it. Reb Elia Lopian, Tzadik Yisoid Oilam, Shechina Medaberes Mitoch Grono. Whatever he said was absolute truth, with Torah's emes. There's a Gemara in Bava Basra, he says. Bacharol, there's a Gemara in Bava Basra, Daf Ayin Omid Aleph. Kol ha-poiresh mi-divrei Torah eishok losoi. Anybody who leaves Torah, he leaves learning Torah, will be consumed by fire. Spilt nicht mit dein Leben. Don't play with your life. If the Gemara says it, it's Torah's emes. It says anybody who leaves learning, he's going to be consumed by fire. Are you fooling yourself? You're going to forsake Torah, you're going to leave the Beis Medrash, you're going to save somebody. You're really going to be of help? Don't you realize you're going to be, anybody who does that is going to be consumed by fire? And he stroked his cheek a little bit, tried to calm him down. Mein kid, sit here and learn, and you're going to bring Yeshua to Klal Yisrael. He didn't get it. The guy didn't get it. You have to understand. Bacharol, you have to understand. If Chazal said the word that Eishach Losa, that anybody who leaves Torah is going to be consumed by fire, it's literal. Don't think it's just some statement in the Welt, in the air. It's just a metaphor. It's literal. It's possible you won't even make it to the battlefield. Not you could be consumed by fire in the battlefield. You're going to be consumed by fire if you leave Torah. You're making a mistake. The Bacha left. He joined the army. He went in for basic training. And the first time he picked up a hand grenade, they were teaching him how to use a hand grenade. He didn't let go fast enough. It exploded, and he was killed. He never made it to the battlefield. Reb Elia's nevuah came true. It was the talk of the yeshiva. The yeshiva, wow, Reb Elia, mamish, Reb Elia. with Elia. This is the importance of Torah. We have to realize the whole world is here because of Torah. Torah is the life, is the Chayei Olam Nota B'Sachenu. That's what Torah is. Torah is Chayei Olam Nota B'Sachenu. It's the Chiyus of the world. Torah is the Chiyus of the world. Torah is the Chiyus of, and Klal Yisrael we are the ones who, we were entrusted with the job of bringing Torah, to giving koyach to the Torah, that it should help the world. And Be'ez Hashem, we have to now take upon ourselves this coming Shavuos a little bit more learning. I know we can't. We're involved in business. We're involved in other things, but to take on ourselves a little bit more learning. Take a seder, decide to learn a daf, learn an Amid Yomi or a Halacha Yomis. Learn something. Become a part of Torah. Get a chelik in the Torah, and then Be'ez Hashem will be zoicha to bring the Mashiach. With the downfall of Yishmael, and the Balaturim says at the end of Chayesara, when we see the downfall of Yishmael, expect the Mashiach to come any day.